Airports are rigged, and most people don't even realize they're being played. From the moment you step inside, everything is designed to keep you spending, stressing, or slipping up. Think that cozy corner seat near the coffee shop is the perfect place to relax before your flight? That might be the most expensive decision you make all day. And that's just the beginning. Behind the glossy floors and polite announcements lies a network of psychological tricks, hidden fees, and industry secrets that quietly siphon your time, your money, and your peace of mind. But what if you knew how to see through the illusion? What if you could spot the traps, dodge the scams, and unlock the hidden perks that most travelers never hear about? Because the truth is, there's a reason seasoned travelers avoid certain terminals, never use airport USB ports, and seem to glide through security like they've got some secret code. They do. And in the next few minutes, you're going to know it too. Stick around, because what you're about to learn won't just change the way you travel, it might make you rethink every airport you've ever walked through. And just wait until you hear the real reason your flight costs more when you search from your phone. Ever notice how airports feel strangely calm, even when they're packed with people, delayed flights, and the low hum of constant announcements? That soothing atmosphere isn't accidental, it's engineered. The lighting is dimmer, the ceilings are lower, the carpet's softer underfoot, not because someone thought it looked nice, but because calm passengers spend more. Studies show that when people feel relaxed, their impulse control drops and their spending rises by up to 10%. That peaceful mood isn't for your benefit, it's for the shops. Airport architects and retail strategists know that anxiety means fewer purchases, while a sense of comfort opens wallets. So the next time you're sipping overpriced coffee in a plush waiting area, take a look around. That cozy environment is a sales funnel with walls. But the manipulation doesn't stop at ambiance. Ever wonder why it feels like you're walking? Miles between gates, winding through endless shops, even if you're just trying to get to security. That's by design too. Airports use a tactic called the Golden Walk. A carefully mapped route that pushes every traveler past as many storefronts as possible. It's not just inconvenient, it's profitable. Every additional minute you spend wandering those shiny corridors means more time to be tempted by snacks, souvenirs, and limited-time travel gadgets you didn't plan to buy. In some airports, even the gate numbers are arranged to force detours through duty-free zones. You're not moving through an airport, you're moving through a maze built to drain your wallet. And unless you know how to spot the pattern, you're walking straight into it every time. What most travelers don't realize is that the spending doesn't stop when you check your bag. It actually gets worse. You hand over your suitcase at check-in, watch it roll away on the conveyor belt, and assume it's heading safely toward your destination. But here's what really happens. Once it leaves your hands, even airport staff stop tracking it directly. Your bag enters a massive underground system of conveyor belts, scanners, and mechanical sorters, relying entirely on barcodes to know where it's going. That's right. Your luggage is being handled by machines, not people. And those machines? They make mistakes all the time. If your bag moves too slowly, it can miss a connecting flight. If it moves too fast, it might arrive before you do, causing chaos in the system. Even worse, if there's an old airline sticker still attached from a previous trip, the system might send your bag to a completely different country. It happens more than you'd think, and when it does, you're left stranded, filing a report, and hoping someone somewhere finds your clothes. But there's a simple trick to outsmart the chaos. Take a clear photo of your luggage right before you check it in. If it goes missing, that photo becomes your best tool. It helps staff identify your bag instantly, instead of relying on vague descriptions. Even better? Invest in a GPS tracker or AirTag and slip it inside. Travelers have tracked their bags across oceans and even located them sitting in the wrong terminal thanks to these tiny devices. While the airlines scramble to figure out where your luggage might be, you'll already know. It's a small move that can save you from massive headaches and the kind of vacation-ruining stress you definitely didn't plan for. But if you think that's the only place airlines are cutting corners, wait until you hear how they're manipulating your food. That warm tray of airplane food sitting in front of you might look like it was freshly prepared for your flight, but it was probably cooked days ago and planned over a year in advance. Airlines don't design meals to impress you. They design them to save money. Everything from the portion size to the exact number of olives in your salad is calculated down to the cent. One major airline famously saved over $40,000 a year by removing a single olive from each passenger's meal. Multiply that across thousands of flights and millions of meals, and the savings explode into the millions. But here's where it gets more bizarre. Your food actually doesn't taste the way you think it does. At 35,000 feet, your taste buds lose up to 30% of their sensitivity due to the altitude and low humidity. Sweet and salty flavors are the first to disappear, which is why airplane meals are overloaded with extra seasoning and sodium. Without it, everything would taste like wet cardboard, and the illusion doesn't end there. The kitchens responsible for your food aren't located on your plane. They're often massive industrial facilities near the airport that work around the clock, churning out meals for multiple airlines at once. Your tray might have been assembled 6 to 10 hours before you even boarded. And if you've ever wondered why it feels like you're always getting the same bland pasta or dry chicken, it's because the menus are tested in labs, not for flavor, but for how well they hold up under reheating. So while you're trying to enjoy your in-flight dinner, just remember, it was never about feeding you well, it was about feeding you just enough to keep you quiet. And yet, food isn't the only place where airlines use subtle manipulation. Sometimes the most invasive tricks happen where you'd least expect it, right at airport security. You shuffle through security, take off your shoes, empty your pockets, and just when you think it's over, a TSA agent hands you a small cloth and asks you to rub your hands. No, they're not checking for germs. That cloth is part of a chemical detection system, scanning for microscopic traces of explosive materials. But here's what most people don't know. Those scans can flag you even if you haven't touched anything suspicious. Maybe you pumped gas earlier or used a certain type of cleaning product. If the machine detects a trace match, you're pulled aside, searched, and questioned, all because of residue on your skin you didn't even know was there. And while you're distracted by the physical checks, something else is watching you, quietly and invisibly. In many major airports, facial recognition cameras powered by artificial intelligence are constantly scanning crowds, looking for matches against government databases. You might not even see the cameras, but they're tracking your expressions, your pace, and even your body temperature. If your behavior deviates from the norm, that could be enough to quietly flag you as a person of interest, sometimes before you even reach your gate. You're being scanned, profiled, and filtered through a system that doesn't sleep, and you're never told how the data is used or where it's going. But despite all the strict rules, there are loopholes, ones most travelers don't even know exist. For example, the TSA's infamous 100 ml liquid rule? There's an exception. If you freeze a liquid solid, like water or juice, you can bring it through security, even if it's well over the limit. And items like breast milk, baby formula, and medications are also allowed in larger quantities. You just have to declare them. The irony? Some travelers throw out essentials they could have kept, all because they didn't know the rules well enough to challenge them. Still, if you think security is the only place where exclusivity rules the airport, think again. Because what comes next will completely change how you think about VIP lounges and who really gets in. Think VIP lounges are reserved for business class passengers and million-mile flyers. That's exactly what airports want you to believe. But the truth is, those quiet, luxurious lounges, complete with free food, drinks, showers, and even nap pods, are more accessible than you think. In fact, many airports offer day passes to anyone for less than the cost of a cheap hotel room. And if you've got the right credit card, you might already have free access without even knowing it. Some cards unlock global lounge networks that let you skip the chaos of crowded gates, no matter which airline or seat class you're flying. All you need to do is show your card and walk in like you belong there. But the real secrets go even deeper. At certain airports, there are hidden hallways and underground tunnels that only insiders know about. Frankfurt Airport, for example, has a long walking tunnel between terminals that most passengers never see. It's used by staff, but clever travelers have discovered it can be a faster, quieter way to change terminals without dealing with the crowds. These secret shortcuts aren't on any map, and you won't find signs pointing the way. Yet, once you know where to look, you realize just how much of the airport is off-limits to the average traveler, unless you know how to unlock it. Still, lounges and shortcuts are only part of the game. Because while you're kicking back in a padded chair sipping free espresso, someone could be hacking your phone without you even touching it. That charging station next to your gate might look like a lifesaver. But plugging your phone into any public USB port is riskier than most people realize. Hackers have figured out how to load malware onto those shared charging stations, turning what seems like a harmless power boost into a digital trap. The moment you connect, your personal information, contacts, emails, even passwords, can be exposed to anyone with the right tools. And the threat isn't limited to USB ports. Public airport Wi-Fi networks, no matter how official they look, are often unprotected and easily hijacked. Log into your email or bank account while waiting for your flight, and someone in the same terminal could be watching every keystroke without you ever knowing. The solution? Always use your own charger in a standard wall outlet, not a USB hub. If you must use public charging ports, invest in a USB data blocker, a small device that lets your phone draw power but blocks data transfer completely. Some travelers even call them USB condoms for a reason. And when it comes to Wi-Fi, never connect without a VPN running. That way, even if someone's snooping on the network, your data stays scrambled and unreadable. If you don't have a VPN, use mobile data for anything sensitive and save browsing for later. These tiny adjustments might sound paranoid, but the digital threats in airports are invisible, and they're counting on you not noticing. But your devices aren't the only thing at risk in the airport ecosystem. While tech-savvy travelers are dodging hackers, the airlines themselves are running a game of their own, one that could quietly cost you hundreds or land you in business class for free if you know exactly when to make your move. Most travelers think flight upgrades are pure luck, a random surprise that happens to a chosen few. But the reality is, airlines have quietly built a system of hidden perks and upgrade opportunities, and almost nobody takes advantage. Frequent flyer programs aren't just about collecting miles for the occasional free ticket. They're layered, with secret benefits that most members never even read about. Some programs grant early access to better seats, priority boarding, and even free checked bags. But here's what insiders know. 4 days before a flight departs, airlines start shuffling their seat assignments, looking to fill empty premium spots. If you check back during this window, especially in the middle of the night when fewer people are online, you might spot a business or first-class seat available for a fraction of the usual cost, or even for free if you have status with the airline. Even without miles, there's another overlooked trick. Check in as early as possible. When economy class is overbooked, airlines have to bump passengers up, and those who've checked in first are often first in line for a surprise upgrade. Pair that with polite, proactive communication. Ask the gate agent if there are any upgrades available or if you can be put on a wait list. You'd be amazed at how often a simple question opens the door to a better seat, especially if you're traveling alone or on a special occasion. And don't forget about airline partnerships. Many frequent flyer programs are linked with hotels, car rentals, and even retail stores, letting you rack up points or enjoy hidden discounts you'd never get just by flying. All these benefits sound impressive, but airlines are betting you'll never bother to look for them. Most people just book the cheapest ticket and move on, leaving stacks of hidden value on the table. But knowing when and how to act can transform your experience, from cramped and stressful to unexpectedly luxurious. And the same principle applies to booking your flight in the first place, because the time you hit buy might be costing you more than you ever imagined. Booking a flight might seem straightforward, but airlines have turned it into a high-stakes, psychological game, one where timing, flexibility, and even the device you use can make a surprising difference in what you pay. Industry insiders know the real bargains appear between 3 weeks and 4 months before departure, when airlines quietly release discounted fares to fill seats. But here's the twist. Tuesdays are statistically the best day to find these deals. Most airlines roll out new offers late on Monday, and by Tuesday afternoon, competitors have matched the prices, creating a sweet spot where tickets can drop significantly, sometimes just for a few hours. Even the time of day matters. Booking. Early in the morning, before most people start searching, can reveal fares that vanish by lunchtime, but the algorithms tracking your behavior are always watching. Search for the same flight multiple times from the same device or account, and the price might climb every time you refresh, just to nudge you into panic buying before it sells out. Savvy travelers get around this by searching incognito, or clearing cookies, and by comparing fares across different devices. Sometimes a ticket that's expensive on your phone will be cheaper on a desktop, or vice versa, just because the system thinks you're a different customer. And flexibility is everything. Use fare calendars and explore flying midweek instead of weekends. Prices can drop dramatically for flights on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and traveling on the holiday itself, not before or after, often unlocks the lowest rates, if you really want. To outsmart the system, avoid direct flights when possible and look for alternate airports nearby. A little inconvenience can save a fortune. Every airline has its own tricks to keep you guessing, but understanding how their system works lets you flip the game in your favor. But once your ticket's bought and your seat is reserved, there's one last trap waiting, one that hits hardest after you land and think you've left all the airport headaches behind: jet lag. And while most people just accept it as part of international travel, there are ways to beat it before it even starts. Jet lag doesn't just ruin your first day abroad. It can mess with your head and body for days if you let it, but most travelers don't realize you can start beating it before you even leave home. The key is to shift your sleep schedule gradually to match your destination's time zone a few days before your flight. If you're heading east, try going to bed an hour earlier each night. If you're heading west, stay up a little later. This small change helps your body clock adjust before you even board. On the flight itself, hydration is everything. Airplane cabins are incredibly dry, and even a little dehydration will make jet lag symptoms worse. Drink water constantly. And skip the free wine or coffee. They only make it harder to bounce back once you land. Right after takeoff, set your watch or phone to your new local time. If it's nighttime at your destination, force yourself to sleep, even if the movie selection is tempting. If it's daytime there, do your best to stay awake and in the light. Once you land, the fastest way to reset your body is to get outside in the sun and avoid naps, no matter how exhausted you feel. Natural daylight helps your brain adjust, while napping or hiding in your hotel room will only drag out the jet lag longer. Eat light, healthy meals. Heavy, greasy foods just slow you down and leave you feeling worse. And if you're really struggling, some travelers swear by small doses of melatonin to help reset their sleep cycles. Just make sure to check with a doctor first. With these simple steps, you can walk off the plane feeling ready to explore, while everyone else is stumbling through customs like a zombie. But your journey through the airport isn't over yet. Not until you understand what those cryptic boarding pass codes are really hiding and how they could change your trip in ways you never expected. That slip of paper or digital barcode you barely glance at, your boarding pass, is packed with secret codes and clues that most travelers completely overlook. Sure, you know your seat number and gate, but hidden among those letters and numbers is a coded language that can quietly reveal your status, your privileges, and even your risks. The two-letter airline code at the front of your flight number isn't just branding. It can tell you which alliance your flight belongs to, what perks you can access, and whether you'll earn miles toward your favorite program. And the flight number itself. Low numbers usually mean flagship routes or more important flights. Think higher priority if there's a disruption or a last-minute equipment swap. But it gets deeper. That seemingly random string of letters on your boarding pass includes the fare class, a single letter that determines everything, from the refund policy to upgrade eligibility. A Y often means full fare economy, J for business, F for first class, and each letter in between comes with its own list of restrictions and hidden perks. Knowing this code can help you spot when you're in a group eligible for upgrades or early boarding. And when you're locked into the most restrictive, non-changeable ticket on the plane, your seat assignment can even reveal how full the flight is. If you're automatically placed in the back or given a middle seat, the system may be signaling that economy is oversold or the airline wants to keep premium seats open for last-minute paying customers. And if your boarding pass has odd markings, strange characters, or missing information, it could be a red flag, sometimes a sign you've been randomly selected for additional screening, or, in rare cases, that there's been a mistake with your reservation. All these details are right in your hand, yet almost nobody pays attention. But now that you know how to read the codes, you can travel with more confidence, more control, and maybe even spot an opportunity others will miss. But if you're hoping for that dream seat at the front of the plane, there are still a few strategies. The airlines pray you never discover. Everyone dreams of stretching out in business or first class, sipping champagne instead of craning your neck in the back row. But what most travelers don't realize is that those coveted upgrades are not just random acts of airline generosity. They're often the result of perfectly timed moves and little-known strategies. The first and most important trick is loyalty. Airlines reward frequent flyers not just with points, but with a secret status that puts you at the front of the upgrade line. If you stick with one airline and rack up enough flights, even in economy, you'll suddenly find yourself offered upgrades that others don't even know exist. Sometimes these come as surprise emails, app notifications, or quiet offers at check-in, especially when business class is underbooked and economy is packed. But timing matters just as much. Show up early, be polite, and dress a notch above the average traveler. Gate agents notice. And sometimes when the system needs to move someone up, they choose the passenger who looks ready for the front cabin. If you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or special occasion, don't be shy about mentioning it. Gate staff can, and sometimes do, surprise travelers with upgrades just to brighten someone's day. Another trick is to volunteer to be bumped. If your flight is oversold, airlines will often reward your flexibility with free tickets, vouchers, or upgrades on your next trip, and those perks can stack up fast. Even if you never fly enough for status, keep an eye on last-minute offers. Sometimes premium seats go unsold, and airlines slash prices or release them for points right before boarding. If you're quick, you can snap up a luxury seat for a fraction of the cost, just because you checked back at the right moment. These tactics aren't foolproof, but the more you know about how upgrades really work, the more you can tip the odds in your favor, turning what should be a long, cramped flight into a surprisingly comfortable journey. But for every hack that works, there are a dozen little traps waiting to snag the unprepared, and when you add them all up, it's clear. The airport experience is a carefully orchestrated game, and until you know the rules, you're just another player being moved around the board. Most people pass through airports thinking they're just following the flow, standing in line, checking bags, grabbing snacks, and waiting for that final boarding call. But now you know it's not just routine. It's a well-crafted maze built to control your mood, drain your wallet, and keep you distracted from how many subtle ways you're being manipulated. Every calm lounge and winding hallway, every delayed bag and over-seasoned meal, every last-minute upgrade and hidden fee, it's all part of a system designed to separate you from your money and your peace of mind. But with the right knowledge, you can flip the script. Suddenly, you see through the golden walkways and psychological tricks, spot the real value in your frequent flyer program, and protect yourself from digital threats and lost luggage disasters. Before they even happen, you unlock the shortcuts and perks that were hiding in plain sight, and you stop falling for the hacks and traps airlines hope you'll never notice. So next time you step into an airport, you won't just move with the crowd. You'll move with confidence, dodging the pitfalls that catch everyone else and finding opportunities the average traveler misses every single day. Maybe you'll even score that unexpected upgrade or sail through security while everyone else is still scrambling with their shoes off. But more than anything, you'll know that the game is winnable, and it's not about luck, but about seeing what others overlook. Which airport secret blew your mind the most? Drop a comment below and share your story. And if you want to dig even deeper into airline loopholes, hidden travel perks, and the kind of secrets insiders don't share, check out the next video on the channel, because the world of airports is full of surprises, and you've just scratched the surface.